Hey guys, what's up? It's Alexis, and today I am going to be doing a very exciting video. This is a video that I've never done on my channel before. Today I'm going to be doing a first impressions on a foundation that I've literally had sitting on my makeup table for months, because when I bought it I knew that I wanted to do a first impression on it, and then I never got around to doing it, so better late than never, right? So as you can probably tell by the title, today I'm going to be doing a first impression on the Clinique Beyond Perfecting Foundation and Concealer. So I'm gonna open this up. So this is what the bottle looks like. It is a nice glass container. I like the packaging a lot. It feels pretty heavy. The color that I chose is One Linen. I'm really hoping this is gonna match me. I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to read what the back of the box says. It says, a foundation and concealer in one for a natural beyond perfected look that lasts all day. Lightweight, moisturizing makeup covers thoroughly without clogging pores. That's good. Color stays true even through sweat and humidity. For complete coverage, dot all over face and blend. Use the unique applicator to spot conceal, and it's oil free. So it is claiming to be lightweight and moisturizing, which I definitely need that. My skin has been so dry. We all know this. If you watch my channel, you know that I'm on Accutane. My skin is super dry, but doing really good. So I do need the moisturizing part of it. The not clogging the pores part is my favorite part, because I feel like every foundation I've ever used clogs my pores. It says it's gonna have a natural matte finish, which is not my favorite finish. I've been really into dewy skin, illuminating the skin, so I don't know how I'm going to feel about that. This is moderate to full coverage, 100% fragrance free, allergy tested, ophthalmologist tested. Honestly, when it comes to foundation, I'm not incredibly knowledgeable because I never really switch up my foundation just because of my past with acne. I really just kept to what I know. So basically this is just going to be a first impression on how I feel about it. Not really anything too fancy. If you do want a further in-depth video on this with someone who is very knowledgeable in foundation, go over to the Taylor channel. I will put her link below. I watch her all the time. I watch her Foundation Friday videos, her 15 days foundation videos. She is super knowledgeable in foundations and she would be very helpful. And I think she did do a first impression on this foundation. So yeah, head over there if you want to see that. But if you just want to see someone messing around with foundation, this is the video for you. So I'm going to put my hair back because I cannot stand when I have hair in my face and I'm trying to put on my foundation. So before we start with the application process, I just wanted to let you guys know that I did wash and moisturize my face, and I also did prime. I used the e.l.f. Hydrating Face Primer. I put this on first, and then I went in with the Dr. Brandt Pores No More primer. These two have been so good to me lately. I love using a hydrating primer first because my skin is extremely dry, and I don't really need the Pores No More primer because my pores are super small from being on the medication. But the tint of this kind of helps reduce my redness and makes my skin look a little bit more even. So this is what I used. And then I did spray a little bit of the Wet n Wild setting spray, the All Day Wear setting spray. I just bought this, so I don't really have too many thoughts on it right now. But I do spray this first just so that the foundation will stick. And that's basically what I do every time, so it would be no different. Before using this foundation, I would have done this anyway. So I'm gonna go just right in with it, I guess. I'm gonna shake it up a little bit. I have a beauty blender and also the Morphe M439 brush, which I always use for my foundation. I'll just do what I've seen other people do because I do switch back and forth between the sponge and the brush. So I'll do half my face with the sponge, half my face with the brush. You probably know the deal with that. I'm going to do the sponge on this side and the brush on this side. I'm going to go in first with the sponge side, I think. Okay, so I just twisted it open. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so it has this big applicator. If any of you have the Tarte Shape Tape or have seen it, which you probably have, this is what it reminds me of. It's a huge doe foot applicator, which I don't mind. I actually kind of like that. Okay, so it would be probably more sanitary to put in the back of my hand, but for the sake of this video, I am going to just put it on my face with the applicator. I don't know how much I need. So I'm just gonna go ham, I guess. This is probably what I would put on with any other foundation, probably about that much. Oh, I wanted to smell it. It doesn't really have too much of a smell. I don't know how to explain that smell. It smells like, it's not a bad smell, but it's not like anything that you would be like, oh, that smells really good. I suck. Our first impression is gonna be my thing? Probably not. Alright, so it's blending out pretty well. I like the coverage a lot, but I can already tell you off the bat I don't like the finish of it. And the reason being is because I knew right away from reading the claims that I wasn't gonna like a natural matte finish. Just right now because of how dry my skin is. Yeah, and around like this area, it already seems to be clinging. So my favorite foundation right now is the L'Oreal Pro Glow, and I don't have that issue with that foundation of it clinging to these pores right here and kind of looking more emphasized, especially because I don't really have big pores right now. I don't have big pores anymore. I thought with the sponge it was gonna kind of, I don't know, hydrate the foundation a little bit or make my skin look a little bit more hydrated, but I don't know, I'm not loving the finish of it right now. I'm gonna go on the forehead. So it looks a little bit better on my forehead, but it still just looks like, it just looks dry, dehydrated. It doesn't look very healthy. Probably not gonna set this with a powder because I feel like if I do, it'll look 10 times worse. And I'm not saying that it looks bad, okay? I'm just saying that in this area right here is not, it's not doing what I would like. It's just clinging on to like some dry patches, clinging on to the pores. On my nose though, let's see. It's just breaking up around my nose ring, and then on the bridge it actually doesn't look that bad, but I'm definitely not feeling it in this area. Let me zoom up for you guys on just that area. Okay, do you guys see what I'm talking about? How it's like breaking up in this area? I really hope, come on. It's breaking up in the area above my lip and also in the pores next to my nose. And that does not happen with my Pro Glow foundation. So I'm not a fan of that. Alright, so we're off to a great start. Now I'm going to go on to the other side of my face and I'm going to be using the Morphe M439. I know I said that already, but I'm assuming that it's not going to look any better with the brush because with the damp beauty blender it should have hydrated it just a teeny bit and it did not. So hopefully this side doesn't look cakey or anything or too dry. Oh, I don't like that. I don't know. Okay, so you cannot buff this foundation in because it's very stiff, if that makes sense. It just doesn't like glide. I guess I'm just very used to like dewy foundations where I can just like buff it in and glide it. But I guess I spoke too soon when I said ew on this side. This side does look a lot better around my pore area and my dry patches. It doesn't seem to be clinging as much, and I was just patting in the foundation this way. I did not buff at all. It gave me more coverage with the brush, which I'm not surprised. Where it was breaking up on the sponge side, it did not do that on the brush side. It actually settled in decently. I'm just gonna do my forehead and zoom you guys in on this side. And again, it looks fine on my forehead. I use a little bit less on the brush side, a little bit less foundation, and it actually looks a lot better, so I guess lesson learned, don't use too much of this. Look at how this looks on camera, how yellow my face looks compared to my neck. Excuse me. Just don't mind that. Okay, so I'm gonna zoom you guys in on the brush side. On this side there is less breaking up of the product and a little bit, it's a little bit smoother. It's not clinging on to my pores or clinging on to dry patches, whereas this side, you can see all in this area, it breaking up. Alright, so before I put on the rest of my makeup, I am just going to see if it builds, which I don't know. I don't know if this is gonna build, but what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put a little bit more where it was breaking up on the sponge side. I'm going to blend it out with the brush and see what happens. Fingers crossed here, people. No. I don't think that was a great idea. Okay. I don't think this is too buildable. It doesn't look awful, but if you get really close to me, you can see that it like is cakey above my lip and around my nose. That part just looks really cakey, not natural at all. So just quickly, because I'm curious and I want to see how concealer does on top of this foundation, I'm going to go in with my Tarte Shape Tape in light, and I'm going to put this on the high points of the face to conceal and brighten. And I think for the concealer, I'm going to blend it out with the Beauty Blender. Okay, so the concealer ended up blending out pretty decently. Like, I don't mind the way that it blended on top of the foundation. Okay, well that was a plus because the concealer does blend out pretty nicely on top of the foundation. So I think I'm going to set the under eyes and just like a little bit in my T-zone. So I'm going to do the rest of my makeup and I will be back to give you my final thoughts on this foundation. Alright guys, so I just finished doing my makeup. I actually just filmed this look, so it's up by the time this video is up. I will link it down below if you are interested in seeing it. Okay, let's talk about this foundation. So as you just saw, I was not feeling it when I was applying it to my face. I didn't like the way it looked on the sponge side because it was breaking up around here and then it was kind of hard to blend in with my brush. But I will say that everything, bronzer, blush, highlight, everything blended so beautifully on top of it. I did not set the entire face. I set under the eyes and a teeny bit on my pores and on my chin, and that's it. I didn't set anything, and it actually did dry down and it doesn't feel too tacky. It's not completely dry to the point where it's like a nice smooth powdery finish, but it's also not tacky or sticky either, and I don't really think it's transferring too much. It transfers a teeny tiny bit but not a ton. So I definitely don't think that this foundation is for people with dry or dehydrated skin. But for all of my oily people out there, I definitely think you guys will like this foundation because it does dry down nice and matte, but it still has a good natural finish. Just be careful of any dry patches if you have any on your face. Make sure you really prep the skin. Make sure it's nice and hydrated with primers and moisturizers. But yeah, I don't know. My thoughts are kind of in the middle on this because it's not a horrible foundation and I can see myself using this again once I get off of Accutane and my oil starts to come back a little bit. I can see myself using this again, but it's definitely not one of my favorites, and it also could be because of the fact I've been using so many dewy foundations lately that I'm just not used to having a matte foundation anymore. Let me know down in the comments if you guys have tried this and let me know your thoughts on it. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And just so you know, I'll be writing in the description box how it wore throughout the day. So make sure you check down there just to see my thoughts on how it held up throughout the day. And yeah, again, thank you guys so much for watching and I will talk to you in the next one. Bye!